Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Farming Simulator 17 map tour. This time we're going to be looking at Pacific Inlet Logging, another map by FDR Logging, and the third logging map to make its way over to consoles. So let's jump in and see exactly what's what. So as we jump in, you'll see straight away that we have pretty much the same kind of base startup that we do with the other maps as well. So we have the same default equipment. We have the Sampo Rosenlu for cutting down logs. We have a red voucher hooked up to the log claw. We have a blue voucher with a plough behind it, and we also have the Great Plains Cedar, the Brantner trailer, the Comia C6, and over in the distance you'll see we have a pickup. Plus we have the usual suspects in terms of buildings, petrol station, Morgan's Massive Motors, our silos, our lumber yard, and a barn and a grain sell point. So as with Emerald Valley, we have a sell point for wood here that has wood chips around the back. This is our tip box for dropping logs inside this area here. And as with Emerald Valley, we also have a mill pond just here. So same as before, you drive up this ramp, you drop your logs off the back there, and you'll get paid that way. So pretty straightforward in terms of starting stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in the truck, and we're going to have a quick whistle-stop tour around the map itself. It's quite a big map. And we're not going to spend too long in each location, but there are a couple of things I will be sort of stopping to point out along the way. So first off, we're going to hang a left here and head down towards the BGA. And the first thing you'll notice about this map is there are a lot more fallen trees than we've seen before. Absolutely swarming with them, this map is. Loads of them. So here we are at the BGA, and again, like Emerald Valley, this is a very big BGA. We have 8 bunkers, 2 sets of 4. Everything else about it is pretty straightforward. So we have our digestate tank just here. There's our shredder just there for selling. Pretty straightforward stuff. And you'll notice there's a lot of water on this map. This map actually sits quite low for part of it, and the rest of it, does gain some elevation. But this first lower part of the map is all pretty low to the ground, and you can't have sort of wetlands without ground that's quite low. Otherwise, how would it be prone to flooding? But before we do that, we're going to head up here. Head up towards Mangatua Mountain and staging area number 3. So this is a pretty straightforward, steady climb all the way up the top. And the ground kind of falls away to the side as we get further and further up the mountain pass. And it's a pretty straightforward road to drive, although in a couple of places it is going to catch you out if you're not careful. So once we reach this kind of S-bend here, you need to be very careful, because you can see that it starts to lean very heavily off camber. Which means if you're taking this too fast with a full container full of logs, you are going to roll. Look how off camber we are here as well. And then you've got a big steep drop to the side there. Anything that goes around that corner going down that hill is going and staying gone. You're going to have to reload it unless you've got it heavily strapped. And you may well struggle, depending on how big the load is, to get it back upright again. And here we are at the top of Mangatua Mountain. This is staging area 3. This is the first one that we're looking at. And from up here, you can actually get some really nice views. So if we jump out, you can see that we can actually look across here. And there is staging area 4, just through the tree line just there. If we swing over this way, you can see Otter Lake, which we'll take a closer look at in just a moment. You can see that all the way down there. There is Otter Lake. You get some wonderful scenic sort of views from up here, with the way that you can see the ground sort of rises and falls, and these little mountainous sort of ridges that stick out. It's a very nice, pretty area up here, very scenic. let's jump back in the truck and we're going to head back down the mountain path. We'll look at Ashworth Mountain briefly as well. We'll see if we can make our way over to Ashworth Mountain a little bit later, when we're checking out staging area 4. But as I say, for now we're going to head back down the mountain pass, down the back of Mangatua, and when we hit the bottom we're going to hang a right and head towards Gnarl Lake. So you can see we're doing about 40 down here. You can see really quite sharp turns if you're going at fast speed, and there's that sort of off camber turn there as well. So that S-bend there, you do kind of need to be careful. Everywhere else it's pretty much fine. There's no real sharp camber, off camber turns. There's no particularly nasty bumps that are going to catch you out, so you can move at a pretty reasonable rate of speed once you're carrying logs down. But there are certain areas like that one there that you will need to exercise just a little bit of caution, a little bit of restraint on your accelerator there. So as we drive alongside this body of water here, we're heading up towards Gnarl Lake, and we're going to go around Gnarl Lake and into the wetlands area. So there is Gnarl Lake itself, and that's very, very steep, very deep as well. I'll give you an indication of just how deep it is. If I kind of just edge towards the water here and then zoom the camera out, you can see straight away how quickly the ground falls away, and anything goes in there, it will require a reset. There's no way you'll get it back out. Not necessarily because it's so steep, but just because it's proper water. You will float when you're in there. Your vehicle will continue to sink and you will just end up swimming on the surface. So if you're not careful, when you head into the water a little bit too sharply, a little bit too fast, you will need to reset your vehicle. So as we head around here, you'll notice on the map that the colour of the water seems to change, and that is because this is shallow water. This is the wetlands area. So this we can actually drive through, and we can get our vehicles in and we can grab these trees, A, the ones that have fallen, and B, the ones that are still standing. You'll notice that they are completely devoid of any greenery. They're all completely dead trees. But also you'll need to be very wary. We've got a little bit of a lip just here, and then the other side there is Gnarl Lake. There is that huge steep drop into the river. It's almost vertical in places. You can see how quickly it falls away. So do exercise caution when you're going for some of these trees, because again, you go a little bit too far forward and the next thing you know, you're swimming and your vehicle is at the bottom of a lake, and the only way to get it back will be to reset it. I know I keep saying that, but it is something that is important, and something that you do need to bear in mind. So we're going to make our way through the wetlands. I love these sort of patches here of dead trees like that. That's a really nice sort of visual sort of difference, to see these lovely green areas and then all of a sudden you come to the wetlands and there's dead trees all over the place, falling on the ground just in these huge pools of water. And then you have these sort of areas of normal lush green trees. We've got more wetlands here just to the south, so that area there, again you can drive in there, but again don't go too far in. You can see the kind of boundary on the mini-map where Lau Lake takes over, and it's the same here as well. This kind of tree here is kind of like a warning. If you go beyond this point, then you do risk falling away and into Lau Lake, where your vehicles will be lost. So again, do be careful when you go for some of the trees around the edge of the lake, because you are asking for trouble if you're not paying attention. Got a little bit more wetlands there, and then as we follow this, we're going to start to join up here with the Conga River. So we're going to blast our way through here. We're running alongside the Conga right now, It doesn't look that far a distance to get across, but again, I'm going to poke the wheels in so you can see just how deep the river really is. You can see it just falls away really quickly, and look how deep it goes. But just a short distance across. You might think, well, I can get across there. You can't. It's impossible. So please don't even try, because once again, you'll be swimming and your vehicle will be sinking. And it's especially, again, another warning for those trees there. You can see you've got some little bit of wetlands just there, and right next to it, with a very, very little warning at all, is the Congo River and imminent drowning. So we're going to make our way all the way back around here, following the Congo River as we head north. And then we're going to loop around and head back down the road that we came, back towards the store and the sell points and the starting area. Got some nice change in elevation here, where we get some hills to go up and down, a little bit of bouncy in places. We're going to kind of put a foot down now and floor it to head back to the store, so that we can go out on a different exit path, head north up the Cerner Pass, and start checking out some of the stuff on the other side of the map. And again, you can just see just this sheer number of trees absolutely everywhere. And that's illustrated quite nicely as we head up the Cerner Pass for the first time. So here's our entrance here, and you've got this wonderful kind of almost like a tunnel kind of effect, with the road lined with trees so heavily on either side, and you've got these huge wide areas where it's just trees everywhere, and then this sort of tunnel of a road running down the middle. It just gives a really nice kind of visual feel to driving on. Here is the next staging area. This is staging area number 1. It's not a particularly large area, but it's again a nice area if you do kind of just set up a temporary base camp, drop a temporary shelter or two down here, get some equipment brought up to this area, and then work the surrounding area. Plenty of trees to clear on either side and in distances. This could be a nice good temporary home for several hours while you clear everything away here, before you then start to move a bit more north, which is what we're going to do now. We're going to head up towards staging area 2. And again, you can see, I just love the way the sun is shining through the trees there. Really, really nice. The only thing that would really improve on that is if we could see some God rays, you know, shining through. Obviously, that's a little bit beyond the processing power that we have available to us on consoles. It would absolutely cripple frame rates trying to do things like that. But we're going to make our way again. I love this sort of kind of tunnel effect that we get with these trees lining the road like this. Making our way to staging area 2. This is another small little staging area. Plenty of trees in the immediate vicinity and the surrounding areas as well. A good sized little temporary base camp that you can set up just here. And you can see in the background there is Otter Lake. That's actually a really shallow little lake. We'll drive through some of the trees and take a closer look at Otter Lake. This is a little shallow lake. It's slightly darker colour, as you can see on the mini-map. We are able to get in here, although there aren't any trees in here, so there isn't really any need to get in here, but you can do if you wanted to. To a certain point. I've just accidentally drowned my vehicle. So maybe don't. Maybe don't try driving in Otter Lake, or you'll do what I've just done. So I'm going to reset the vehicle, bring it back up here, and then we'll kind of just forget that just happened. So here we are at staging area 2 for the first time. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And just behind these trees you can see is Otter Lake. And I do not advise driving your vehicle in there, because although it looks quite shallow, you will lose it. So please don't drive in there. Don't make the mistake that I have not made, honestly. Right, moving on. Let's let's head north. We're going to head towards Davidson Lake. The road kind of forks around Davidson, so we're going to take the North Fork first of all, and that goes up to a kind of a sort of a loop at the end of the path, and that's pretty much all that's up there. But it's a nice scenic drive to take. Davidson Lake is again one of those lakes that looks shallow, but is actually a little bit too deep for your vehicles to drive in. So you will lose your car in there as well if you're not too careful. There's a couple of places where you can probably get away with it, but if we just drive in just a little bit, you can see there are actually some quite deep troughs that just pop up. So you catch one of those and you will drown your vehicle. So yeah, don't go driving through there either. Again, there's nothing really in there. There's no trees that are really going to cause you any major issues trying to get to them. So let's make our way actually back onto the road. There we go. Again, you're seeing quite a few fallen trees on this side of the lake as well. One actually sticking through the ground a little bit there. This is a nice little sort of scenic drive as well. It's a very peaceful, relaxing driving experience on this map. It's very, very nice to just drive on this map without actually doing anything other than just driving around. It feels really quite nice and quite serene. We've got this little loop area here. You could potentially set up a camp up here, but there isn't anywhere kind of pre-designated for you to do it, so you'd have to be a little bit creative. The ground in the centre is very uneven in places, so I don't know whether you could actually set up a shop just there. But I mean, there's plenty of potential locations where you could do something. You could just take out some of these trees at this sort of intersection here perhaps and put something in there, or just off to the side just there. There's options that you have for working up here, and you've got a nice turning area as well, which is good, so you can actually go in one side, drive around and come out the other without having any awkward turning issues. So now that we've kind of explored the north side of Davidson Lake, we're going to head back around the south side, and we're going to check out staging area 4, and then we're going to cross the Conga and take a look at staging area 5, then drop down to the wetlands for staging area 6. So, a little bump here on this side of the map. There are a few more little lumps and bumps in the roads that make them a little bit more unpredictable, but still they're pretty stable. You're not going to have any major issues. And there we can see, let's see, where are we? There is Mangatua Mountain, just up there, and then over here we have Ashworth Mountain. Let's just have a quick wander up here and see what Ashworth looks like. There might be even a little bit of water over by Ashworth. But again, look at that, a lovely kind of view there, looking over the tree line. There are certain spots on these maps where you can just get some breathtaking views. But yeah, this is staging area 4. This one's probably one of the more uneven staging areas. You can see there's quite a lot of variation in the ground height. It's not flat like it is at some of the other ones. So if you're thinking of setting up a shed area up here, I think the FS17 shed pack is probably the perfect choice for up there, because that has legs that will auto adjust, so the building looks like it's stable and is connected to the ground at all points, and won't look like it's kind of floating if it's not on perfectly flat ground. We've got a little bit of a windy path here, again a little bit more sort of altitude as we come up to crossing the River Conga, and we've got another one of these wonderful bridges, and again we get some really nice kind of views and shots over here. That looks fantastic with those trees like that crossing over the river, and same on the other side as well. You can see some wonderful kind of shots that you can get, especially if you've got, say, a truck with a full load of logs on a trailer. You get some wonderful screenshots going over there. So we're going to head north and head up to staging area 5 as we go along the side of Dudley Mountain. You can climb up Dudley Mountain, and you can potentially drive up there in something like a truck or a tractor, but it's a bit tricky. Some of the trees are quite close together. And this is quite a large staging area, just here. And it's pretty flat as well, so again, you can get some sheds placed down quite comfortably here. Lots of trees to work with, again, both around the immediate sort of area and then obviously in the area leading up to as well. So that was staging area 5, and now we're going to head south to staging area 6, where we drop back into the wetlands on the opposite bank of the Conga to the one we were in earlier. And this is a really nice drive to get down there. We've got lots of little twists and turns and dips and rises, and yeah, it's really nice driving down here. I've really enjoyed this part here more than I think any other part of the map. Again, really, really nice and scenic. I'm going to actually do this in cab. As we are driving along the opposite bank of the Conga, it's just down there. We get a little bit of a height change as we go up here. And then we will start to fall away again in a moment. There is the Conga just there, look. And again, another little climb as we make our way around here. And then we get to a kind of a mini staging area just here. So this is kind of like a double staging area, one just here, and then we've got this drop down here, which is actually quite steep. And then we have this staging area just here, down at the bottom. You can see there's that drop that we've just come down, and this is the second half of the staging area, and we have more wetlands to explore. Quite a lot of wetlands, as you can see. Not quite as much as on the opposite side of the river, obviously, but still a good amount of trees available to us to actually work in this area. So there we go. That is our quick whistle-stop tour of Pacific Inlet Logging. The third map made available to console users to do logging on by FDR Logging. We've waited ages for logging to come to console, and now we've had 3 maps in quick succession, and I think they've got better and better with each map. This of the 3 is my favourite, and there's definitely areas on this that you could actually convert into proper farmable land if you wanted to try and deforest an area, plough the ground and start working crops. There's definitely areas on this map that are very, very sort of welcoming towards that kind of aspect of the game. So I think I may even actually have a go at that myself. I may try and deforest certain parts with a view to establishing actual workable fields. We'll see how that goes, and I'll let you know with screenshots and updates on my Facebook page if I do end up doing that. But there we go, that is Pacific Inlet Logging by FDR. I hope you've enjoyed the map. I look forward to actually having a little bit of fun on this map, trying to turn it into a into a normal farm with a lot of logging on the side of it. So yeah, give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments, either on this video or on my Facebook page, which I'll link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you all very soon.